What do you think about the music that Gen Z is consuming these days?
Every generation conflicts with the generation before it right on its music, but I think this is the first generation where you can truly say it's garbage in, garbage out as it relates to the music that you guys are listening to and are hearing. It speaks to everything against decency and goodness and kindness and love for one another.
Well, personally, I think Taylor Swift is not the best that you can listen to. There's a lot of better people, like Gary Jobe, I think is a lot better. I think Taylor Swift's doing a lot of harm to young women.
Absolutely. How about you? What do you think?
I'll pick Trump over Taylor Swift any day. I am more of an oldies fan than the current stuff.
A lot of it's way too horny. A lot of it talks about degeneracy. A lot of it talks about drugs. It talks about a culture that is just not conducive to a thriving traditional life, and I think we need to change that.
I mean, I listen to most of it actually, and while it's not the same kind of music that I listened to when I was growing up, because it was way better back then, I gotta tell you that it's just entertainment. It's only entertainment.
I think it's scary because the young mind is not necessarily prepared to understand between what's true, what the world's calling them into, versus what God's calling them into. And that without proper supervision, consumption of that kind of music is going to lead you far from God. It's going to lead you to serve the world and follow what the world wants. And that's not what we need for young people.
I think that Gen Z and Gen Z's parents need to pay particularly close attention to the lyrics.
It's a big mess right now.
I have to say I haven't really been listening to the music Gen Z consumes these days because I feel like an old lady saying this, but back in my day, our music was actually music.
It was good.
And it told stories and it had a purpose. And the little snippets that I have gotten of the music is just it's the same line repeated over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, this is the worst kind of subliminal messaging.
I don't really think it's music. It's degenerate. It kind of is brainwashed.
I believe that the current music is just absolutely terrible when it comes to a message that perpetuates what's going on in society.
Yeah, I'm not all that familiar with it, but if it's anything like what I hear on the radio, it's garbage.
Well, I think music is something that people have no idea the influence it has in the life of people.
It is very woke and very sexual.
Even conservatives are listening to these songs that are cursing and that are about female empowerment, but in such a gross, objectifying, sexualized way, and we need to get away from that.
We should not allow music culture to impact our elections. Just because Taylor Swift wants to go vote for somebody that I personally don't like or care about, you can still enjoy her music, but not appreciate her politics.
So it's something that should be concerning. It's something we should ask ourselves, based on our mind, what are we feeding our mind? Are we feeding our mind good, positive things that are leading us to a greater future, a greater place to serve? Or are we filling our minds with things that are leading us to serve ourselves, leading us to pay attention to what everyone else is doing and how we need to fit in? And I just think it's a terrible trap. So there's a lot of work needs to be done to just teach young people about this.
Because when you dig deep down into who these people are, they're not these beautiful, shining stars that they portray themselves to be. So be very careful who your children listen to and who even adults, as you get into 17, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, still be careful because what these kids start learning is these nasty, filthy lyrics, and they start living that way.
Christian music's great, but it's kind of boring to that generation, I feel like, and so we need good musicians who are being promoted and getting their music out there and on top of the charts. We need that. We need to saturate that industry.
Because I guess the beat is kind of fun, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't say anything. It's all empty and soulless, and it's just trying to get you moving in time with some sort of mantra to drill into your head. It's crazy.
Culture reflects art, art reflects what's going on, and the current art we have out here, it's currently about the destruction of family values, the belittling of one gender over another, or the objectification, and that's not something that we need as a culture, and it's not something that Gen Z needs to grow up listening to if they're the future of our country.
I think music kind of resonates with you, sticks in your mind, and so when you're constantly consuming negative, degrading music, it's going to be playing in your mind. So whether you're at work, you're working out, you're hanging out with friends, you're constantly thinking about those lyrics and the music. And I think that's overall going to have a pernicious effect. You might not notice it right away, but over time, it's going to affect your mentality and the way you think.
Beyond just the entertainment, the part of the music that people enjoy, just the beats, the influence that it carries is something that people should definitely want to consider. And gone are those days where the lyrics of the music is what people listen to get very accustomed to that music. I don't think today the kind of lyrics that we hear in music, that especially the Gen Z, I think we should consider the lyrics of some of those songs and just ensure that they are edifying.
Trade our silence in for a battle cry. Leave evil barely breathing on the ground and water down.